All right, this is the third installation of Draw With Me. I believe it's the third one. Um, it is July 31st, 11:18 p.m. It's a Friday. I did a little door dashing today. Um, and I actually was reminded of something that happened a few months ago. I don't remember exactly when it was, but that's irrelevant. So, a few months ago, I was, doing my usual. I was working, door dashing, Instacart, all that stuff, Uber Eats. So I do all three apps at once. And I get this order across my screen, and it's, you know how sometimes on Uber Eats you can do like gifts, like you can send someone something, it's sweet or whatever. Well, that happened, and of course it tells me. And so it's like, it's from Steak and Shake. It's like ice cream, some ice cream kind of thing. I was like, oh, that's like sweet. I'm assuming somebody's boyfriend or husband or something is sending them something. That's really sweet. And so I go and pick it up and everything. I drive to the house, and I'm pretty good at finding the correct house. I've been doing this for a few years, and I go up. I was like, found the numbers and everything, and went up there, and I was like, "Hi, is there a whatever her name was, Megan? Is there a Megan here?" And they just kind of looked at me. It was these girls, and she was like, no. And I was like, "Oh, well, somebody. This is like a gift. Do you know? I don't remember the guy's name. Well, do you know a Paul?" And she's like, no. And then there's these other girls. They're probably like in their 19 or 20, and they're all like trying to figure out what's going on. And they're like, no. And I can see them all in the background, and they're like, yeah, that's not ours. And I'm like, okay. And they shut the door, and I check the numbers in the house again. I go back down to my car. I'm kind of like, what's going on here? And I text the guy. Um, I don't remember what I said. I was just like, are you sure this is the right house? Blah, blah, blah. Is it blah, blah, blah? And I described it, and he was like, yeah, it's the house with a bunch of cars outside. And there was a bunch of cars outside this house. And like, he kind of described it, and I was like, okay. And he like gave me the name again. He was like, it's for Megan. And I was like, I said, they're saying that they don't know a Paul. And he's like, and he wasn't answering me, and so I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I got to get to my next order. I don't know what's going on here. So I take the food or the ice cream back up to the house, and then other girls answer the door, and they're like, who's it for? And I was like, it's for Megan. Are you Megan? And she was like, yeah, but who's it from? And I was like, it's from Paul. He sent it as a gift. And she was like, I don't know a Paul. And she was like really like nervous and scared, and she was telling her friend like what is going on right now. Like she was shaking a little bit. And I was like, I don't know, girl. I was like, I'm just delivering it. And she was like, and they like wanted to like know who it was from. They just wanted more info, which obviously, and then he starts texting me back, and he was like saying that it was for her. And so I think I called him because I just like, I need to know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, what am I supposed to do? And so I called him just to make sure I was getting it to the right house. And he was like, he was so weird about it. It sounded like an older guy, and he was really weird about it. I was like, is this Paul? And he's like, um, uh, and he just kept doing that, and I don't remember what he said. He said just cancel the order. And I was like, I said, well, you're still gonna have to pay for it. Like, I'm already here. And he was like, on the phone he was saying something like a misunderstanding. I don't know. What it seemed to me like what had happened was maybe he had a crush on it sounded like an older guy though. Like it was kind of creepy. I feel bad for this girl, but like cuz he had her phone number, he had her address, and he knew that there was lots of cars outside of her house. Like he had to like know he had to know who she was. You know what I mean? You can't really just find that information. I mean, you could if you really tried, but that's even weirder. You know what I mean? But so what I think happened, and I'm still not sure to this day, but that maybe he had a crush on her or something in like a weird way. Like, this girl was like 19 years old. Okay, he was probably like 40 or more, and just the way his voice sounded, everything, he didn't talk like he was young or her age or anything. And so he was like, or so yeah, I think like he maybe had a crush on her, or maybe he worked with her or something, dude. Like, he had to have known. about her. I guess unless he like looked her up on Facebook, but like that's so weird. And I felt bad for this poor girl. I was like, I was like, she was shaking and she was scared, and her friends were trying to like calm her down because like that is like stalker energy, you know what I mean? Like, girl, do you have a stalker? And I was like, well, I'm just gonna leave this here. I didn't know what to do with it. Like, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? Give it to the next. Like, he already paid for it. I can't cancel it. That's not how that works. And so I was like, well, here you go. Like, just keep it or throw it away or something. And I gave it to them. And that poor girl, she was like, oh, okay. And her friends were trying to calm her down. And I left, and I didn't call the police. I called Uber because I had to, yeah, it was weird. I guess I could have said I complete the order, but I don't know. It's just weird to me that you can just send. It's not weird that you can send people stuff like as a gift. That's sweet. But the idea that somebody would abuse that and be creepy with it, it it's just weird. Like, I don't know. I'm obviously not a guy, but sometimes I feel like men tend to think that women are interested in them when they're not. You know what I mean? In the nicest way possible. Like, I've personally experienced this on like a, maybe not, they didn't think I was interested in them, but like, I'm just being polite, I'm in the store, I'm whatever, and I'm like, I make eye contact with somebody, and I smile, and then they all of a sudden have this weird, creepy look on their face, and they're like, and like, I don't know, like, not to be rude to dudes or anything, but don't be creepy. Like, it made me, that happened a few times, and I was like, okay, out of state, and like, no, I wasn't in my hometown. I was just like, I'm just being polite, smiling at people, and that happened a few times, and I was like, yeah, okay. I don't do that anymore. That's fine. And one time this really creepy guy was like, "You have beautiful hair," and like it was creepy. And so, yeah, I don't know what it is that makes guys like that. Um, I know men's mental health is a big thing that like is not taken seriously, and I don't know, it's a weird thing because like if you're going to be weird, I'm going to call you out on it. I'm not going to be rude just to be rude, but we can't just let people be rude, or we can't just let people be weird and let them get away with it, because then they'll think it's okay, and then they might not think it's weird, but they'll think their behavior is okay, and then they'll do it to other people and make other people feel weird, and it's not a good thing. And so I called Uber Eats and I explained the situation. They basically didn't care, which, I mean, I guess what are they going to do? I tried to get them. I was like, can you just make it to where he can't send her stuff anymore? Like, can you block her somehow or something or whatever? And she said that they couldn't do anything, that if somebody wants to send somebody something, like, that's it. Like, they let them. They're not going to block that or whatever. I don't know how they would do it, but I don't know. I just wanted them to do something to make her not feel so creeped out. You know what I mean? And, or yeah, I don't know. But then because he also had her phone number too, because her phone number, when you send a gift, it gives you the phone number of the recipient. So in case, I don't know, somebody's not home, or I don't know where to drop it off at, that makes sense. But my point is, where do you get her phone number and to put it in there like that? And so I texted, or it might not have been her phone number, actually. He might have just put somebody else's in there, but I texted it and I was like, girl, I told her I called the Uber. I was like, if I were you, I would call the police. And that sounds drastic, but do you know how many times I've heard stories that people were like, well, we couldn't make a report because this is like, people waited until it got extremely out of hand to report it, and they couldn't do anything because, oh, there's only, until somebody gets killed or something terrible happens, and so, if that makes any sense. But so in my personal opinion, I would rather report stuff too much than something have happened and me not have reported it. You know what I mean? And so I was like, I would personally report it to the police just so they know, just write it up. And here's the dude's name and everything like that. I don't know. It was super weird. I'm actually, I still wonder about it. Like, I wonder if this guy was just being creepy, or if I don't know what else it could have been besides a guy unintentionally being creepy. Because when he texted me, he was like it's a blonde, he was describing her and everything, and he was describing her house, and he was like, I don't know, it was weird. It was pretty weird, but I feel bad for her. I hope she's okay. But yeah, so that was definitely interesting on my part. It was one of the more interesting things that have happened to me while working. But yeah, let's see. What do you guys think of this drawing so far? I know it's interesting. It's not. It is like my usual stuff, but yet at the same time, it's not. I had these Copic markers, and they were $20, which is insane. And I like them, but number one, you have to like. I don't know if it's just the canvas that I'm working on because it's black. You have to do multiple layers, or I don't know, or if I would have to do that no matter what. But I kind of, you can see the lines are kind of like see through a little bit, and to get them to pop out, I have to go over them again. So I'm using double the ink, and so this is my, I don't know, this is my oh my gosh, it's only my second drawing with these markers, and they're already going out. So I love them. They're fantastic markers. Like, I love the color. They really pop on the black canvas. But if I had to put a negative, I would say that the ink runs out super fast. Like, who has money to be buying $20 markers all the time? But at this point in the drawing, I think it looks like a heart valve. You know, see there on the left side, the like a pumping heart. I don't know. I don't have plans when I sit down to draw. I'm just kind of like, I have a rough idea. I've learned if I start. Oh my gosh. Sorry there, excuse me. You could probably hear my Uber Eats going off in the background. Friday is a really good day for sitting at home, and I live in a pretty small town, and so I'll sit at home, I'll leave Uber Eats on because I live like in the city kind of, and I'll just let it run, and the orders, I don't really understand how it works on the customer side, but I think if there's not enough drivers, like, it'll keep sending it back to them, I guess. And so what I'll make keeps going higher and higher and higher. And so I'll usually sit here and decline a few, and then it'll come back around and be super high. But that was a $20 order. I'm going to wait for it to go up, and you'll probably hear if it comes back again. But sorry for the interruption there. What I was saying is when I sit down, I don't really have a plan to draw. I've learned, though, that depending on where excuse me, depending on where I start on the paper or the canvas or whatever, depending on where I start, I have an idea for kind of how it will turn out. If I start in the middle, it'll be pretty centered. I mean, that makes sense. I'll just keep growing off of that. If I start on the bottom left corner, for some reason, I don't know, it turns into the entire page, and sometimes there'll be like a border that I'll end up making. And then the bottom right side, again, for whatever reason, it's weird. I just did, it looks like a skeleton to me, but I did one of my draw with me's, and I started on the bottom right side, and it kind of spurred out to the left. I don't know if that makes any sense. I wish I could show you, but just kind of how this one did. Like, I started from the bottom, and it's like coming out to the left, like building to the left. So I can kind of see kind of what kind of thing I want to draw, and then that's where I'll start. But yeah, I don't have any kind of whatever. The thing I love about drawing so much, and in the way that I draw, is I don't have to think most of the time. You know, sometimes I do because I'm like, what? Obviously I want to look good, and so I'm like, where do I want to put like, I do think, but there's some drawings where I'm just repeatedly drawing the same thing over and over again. Those are so much fun. I did this, like, I think I called it the noodle doodle. It's just a bunch of noodles, and it took like hours. It took like 6 or 8 hours or something. It was crazy. And they were just a bunch of noodles, and but things like that, I love drawing things like that because, like I said, I can just put on a movie, put on an audiobook, put on a document, whatever, and I'll just sit there and noodle doodle, just draw the same thing over and over again. It's so relaxing to me to just, like, not shut off my brain, but to shut off the part of my brain that's thinking about what I'm drawing. It's like I'm an autopilot, you know what I mean? And then I can step back inside of my brain and think about whatever I want to think about, or I can just shut my brain off. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I did have fun with these Copic not Copic markers, these Posca markers, but they are running out. I do need some new ones, and I think they're worth it. Now, I will be fair. I said I've only done 2 drawings with them, but I did do some birthday cards, And I did a pretty cool birthday card for my brother, my little brother. He's obsessed with Michael Jackson. Elliot, if you're listening to this, I love you. Um, I doubt he's listening to this, but anyways, he's obsessed with Michael Jackson. And I was obsessed with maybe not obsessed when I was little, but the Michael movie just came out and everything, and he watched it, and I watched it too, and it was so funny. I didn't know he was also obsessed with it, but I watched the movie and I was like, it was just really cool. I love Michael Jackson since I was a little kid. We got the Michael Jackson Experience game on the Wii. Me and my brother and my sister, we got it for Christmas one year, and we just could not get enough of that. It was so much fun, and it was perfect because there was three of us. We could be my brother. My brother is in the middle. He's Michael, of course, and what's even funnier, we really could have started like a whole dance thing because my brother, he's older, so he's taller. He's in the middle, and then me and my twin sister, and so we're about the same height, so that goes good. And we're twins, and we're girls, and then like he's in the middle. We really could have had, wow, what a missed opportunity there. We really could have had like a whole little like dance group or whatever, but we were obsessed with that game. It was just so much fun. How could you not? It's just so much fun. Like, if you don't know what it is, okay, the Michael Jackson Experience, you get on there, you get on the Wii, and it's one of the games on the Wii that you like do the motion sensor, whatever. It has like a little camera thing. You hold your controller, and then you have to do the moves up on the screen, and then you have to like, kind of like Just Dance or whatever. But I think it probably came out before Just Dance or at the same time or whatever. And it's like picking up the motion controller from the one hand. Super fun. Okay, they even have like on YouTube, people have like screen recorded it and put it on YouTube. And so sometimes when I'm doing my work, when I need to work out in, I'll just put it on and dance to it. Not so much anymore, but I used to do that, and me and my sister would do that. It's just so much fun. Why would I want to do cardio walking when I could dance, You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. Anyways, so it's a super fun game, but yeah, that really, 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 really put a dent in me and made me like Michael Jackson a lot. And that's how we learned all the songs. And I ought to ask my brother and sister if it did the same thing to them that it did to me, because since then, like I had Michael Jackson on my iPod, like I listened to him all the time. I remember oh, sorry, hit the mic. I remember the song Dangerous. It was on my iPod for some reason. I think what we did was we had those little iPod shuffles. We had those because like we she didn't want us on the screens and everything, which is understandable. So we had iPod shuffles, and because you're a kid and there wasn't like TikTok or whatever, however people get music nowadays, there wasn't that. And so she just downloaded her music, my grandma she downloaded her music onto our iPod shuffles, and so we kind of listened to all the music she listened to, which is so funny now because like it's just funny. So there's a lot of songs that remind me of her, and just to think about I don't know, it's just funny. And so, but there's a song Dangerous. I remember being in like 3rd grade and listening to that on the bus. And it was a good time. But so like it really just put an impression on me as a kid playing that game. And then like his songs are good, and I liked learning about him and all kinds of, whatever. It was super fun. But I'm curious if it had the same effect on my brother and sister, because we were having a little, like a month ago, me and my sister and my other sister were having what is that called when you do karaoke? I think it's like blind karaoke or something. So like you put like a chair in front of the TV, and then you get on YouTube and you put a karaoke, and so it's just the music, you know what I mean? It's just the music, and then you're supposed to sing the words and not miss the words. And I don't remember somebody picked a Michael Jackson song, and I knew all the words. And you know how with Michael Jackson songs, like I would say the majority of people, they don't know the actual lyrics, but they can, you know what I mean? Like you can like hum along if you don't know the actual lyrics. And so they put the lyrics up, and I missed like one lyric or two lyrics. And my sister was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't think you would know them all," or like whatever. And I was like, "Well, how do you not know them all?" Because I love Michael Jackson. I thought we had the same experience here with that, the Michael Jackson experience. And so, I don't know, it was just funny realizing that maybe she didn't. So, yeah, yeah, so I really love Michael Jackson, but so it's adorable now that my brother's into him. And so for his birthday, I made him a really cool, I thought it was really cool birthday card. I was going to make a video about it cuz I recorded the process, but yeah, I did a well, you can just watch the video. The video will be up in later, but whatever, yeah. And I think he really liked it. It was pretty cool. And so yeah, and we're also going to see a Michael Jackson impersonator coming up next month. So that's going to be really fun. That's what he got for his birthday. And so it's so sweet. It's a whole thing. It's going to be fun. And yeah. You know, the Michael movie, if you haven't seen it, I don't know why. I saw the trailer when it came out and I was like, I don't know why. I was just kind of like, I thought it was going to be like rated R or something, which is funny because that's not really, I guess I didn't know that then. That's not who Michael Jackson was really. Like rock and roll and blah, 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 blah. At least that's not what he appears to be, but that's what I thought it was going to be, you know, just like the Motley Crue movie, The Dirt. If you've seen that, that movie's awful. Like with the adult content, explicit content in it. What's the difference? Same thing. But so I was kind of like, no, I'm not gonna go watch it, even though I really love Michael Jackson. Anyways, so one night I was perusing Google for a movie to watch, and I was like, fine, I'll watch it. And it was one of those times, one of those rare times in this day and age, especially where I put the movie on and I think I watched the whole thing right then and there, which for me, I've talked about it before, doesn't really happen because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna eat, you know, and then take a second before I go on my walk. So for 20 minutes, so I watched the beginning 20 minutes of movies, but this one, no, I was like, no, I gotta watch this entire movie, and like I didn't. That's how you know if a movie's good. Is that bad? That's like my gauge. Like if I'm sitting here truly giving it my attention from the beginning, okay, and I'm finding myself getting bored, wanting to get on my phone or whatever. I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles nowadays, you know, attention spans are short, and I do want to work on that. I do want to work on my attention span, but I don't know. But my point is, like, you can kind of gauge if a movie is really good or not if you find yourself thinking about other things or whatever. But I was like hooked. I was like, this is such an amazing movie. What a good story. The way they put it together and everything. And then like, of course, you know, it's constantly it's over everything. It's on your YouTube Shorts. It's on everything. All the songs, all the everything. I'm sure his songs are charting again, and whatever. But it's just like crazy the impact that he had on the world. And like I think he was probably, we should look it up, he was probably like the first one. I mean, obviously the Beatles and everything, but and it's hard for me to say, so don't judge me if you're older, but because I wasn't around at that time, you know. He died in 2009, so I was 7 years old. I probably didn't really have a clue who he was, you know. So we probably started playing that game when we were 10, and we didn't know, like, we just don't understand how the world works then. So but he was probably the first one to just have that effect on the world, you know. Maybe the Beatles, but I bet you we'll see who was more well known. How do I word that? More well known than the Beatles. Our band teacher would always say the Beatles. And then, you know, we're learning all this stuff about Michael Jackson just because it pops up on the feeds and everything. Okay, see, that's fair. It says Michael Jackson and the Beatles are genuinely considered equally matched at the absolute top tier of global fame. Although Michael Jackson is often viewed as more widely recognized as a single person worldwide. You know, that makes sense. It's just so crazy the impact and the effect that he had on the culture, on literally everything. If you haven't watched the movie in your spectacle, just I would watch it. At least, you know, watch the first 10 minutes. And honestly, if you don't like it, then you're not going to like the rest of the movie. It's so good. If you're not hooked in the first 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, well, okay, then fine. But it's really good. And, you know, it makes me proud. It makes me proud to live in Indiana. Michael Jackson's from Indiana, if you didn't know. He's from Gary, Indiana. And, you know, growing up, I was always like, ugh, Indiana. And I think that's shifted over time for me. I think I've realized it's all in the mindset, you know? Um I feel like they always talk about in movies and in books and whatever, it's kind of overdone, but like people are like the idea of like, oh, let's get out of here and run away and whatever, they kind of romanticize that in movies and stuff. But um I think maybe that had something to do with why I was always like, I hate Indiana, I just want to get out of here, blah 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 blah. But it's like I'm older now, and after I have gotten out of here and traveled, I realized that really every city is the same. It's just laid out differently. The McDonald's is further away from the Taco Bell in some places. Some cities don't have a Wendy's. You know what I mean? Like they're all the same, it, pretty much. Like obviously you have bigger cities, San Francisco versus New York. There's big differences, but I'm talking about like small towns or whatever. They're all the same, and so traveling just made me realize like it's all about your perspective and your point of view in your own head. So you can hate on where you're from all day long, but that's not going to change where you're from. It's not going to change what it is. And so really I decided that I might as well look for the beauty in it. And honestly, there's so many cool things about Indiana. Now there's a lot of bad things about Indiana that just kind of stink, but it's like that in every small town. Um I will say where I live specifically, in the town that I live, very, very, there's like I don't know how to describe it. There's a cloud, if you will, of darkness over where I live. And people have said it was built on an Indian burial ground, which I don't know, that maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but there is some like kind of dark history here. And yeah, so it's weird. One time we were coming back from Kentucky or something, and we were coming back from somewhere, one of the border states of us, and we felt, me and my friend and my sister, like all in the car, could feel the shift from going from where we were, literally just crossing the border into Indiana. We were both like, "Whoa, did you feel that?" And she was like, "Yeah, like what was that?" And it, like, the shift from going, and then into my hometown, like it's just dark, and people have a way of never being able to get out of here. It kind of reminds me of that scene in Percy Jackson, the first Percy Jackson, when they go into the casino and they're eating the lotus flowers and they have no sense of time. They there's people they realize that have been there for years, and people can't seem to get out. That's kind of what it seems to me that it's like here in this town. People come from Kentucky, and a lot of people say that, "Oh, I'm from Kentucky and I hate it here," but they don't know why. They can't explain it. They can't get out of here for some reason, even if they're not from here. And so, I don't know, there is like a darkness over my town, and I can definitely tell. Like, I went up to see my dad a few weeks ago, and I stayed for like a week or two, and when I was up there, I was like, "Shoo, man, I can really feel that I'm not at home, like in a good way. Like I can't feel the darkness pushing down on you constantly, and all the other things that just kind of this town is." And it's literally, I'm not saying that in a kind of way of, oh, the people or this or that. It's like, no, you could take everything out of it and it would still feel that way, because there's pressure on it. There's like a black cloud above it, and it's just dark. And so I just kept saying that over and over when I was up there. I was like, man, you can tell I'm not at home. We're not in Kansas anymore. It like felt good. And so when I got back, I could feel, in a bad way, I was like, man, I can tell I'm home. It's not like yeah, it's like, well, yay, I'm home in the sense, because this is home. This is where I live. But it's like dark, if that makes any sense. It's kind of sad, really. But I don't know if it's been in the recent years, but like people in movies and stuff keep writing their stories taking place in Indiana. What's that one show, Stranger Things? Yeah, Stranger Things takes place in Indiana. That's pretty cool. Michael Jackson was born here. um there's other Indiana things. Let's look it up. Movies that take place Indiana. This is Indiana, yeah, we do it big. It's such a dumb song. They used to play that when we were little. See? Wait. Oh, not India. No, I was like, Slumdog Millionaire takes place in Indiana? No. Learn how to spell, Jane. I forgot the N. Okay. Yeah. Rudy. Rudy takes place here. Oh, wow. At Notre Dame in South Bend. I remember watching that in like 8th grade, and I don't think I paid attention. What? This movie. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to watch this. Okay, it's called Breaking Away, 1979. Sometimes it's hard for me to watch older movies like that, but working class teens in Bloomington navigate life and train for the local Little 500 bicycle race. What in the world? Bloomington is not that far away from me. That's crazy. One time I was in Bloomington. I don't go to Bloomington anymore because every time I go to Bloomington, something bad happens. Oh, no, I take that back. I don't want to speak things into existence. I'm just stating the facts. First time I remember going as like an adult, went to this comedy show, and on the way back, on the way back, yeah. You know what? I don't even want to get negative. I'm just going to leave that there. But that's pretty cool. Maybe I'll have to look that up. And then, no way, A League of Their Own. What is going on? I'm sorry for your ears. What is going on? I don't even know my own state, and I'm sitting here talking about how cool it is. A League of Their Own was filmed in Evansville, Indiana. I don't think that's far. When I say not that far, not far for me is like 2 hours. I could drive 2 hours like it's cake. I could drive 3 hours like it's cake. But I actually don't know how far it is. I just know you hear that. Like, oh yeah, in Evansville or blah, 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 blah. Like, just because it's close to here. But that's so cool. Yeah, see, there's another one I forgot. The Fault in Our Stars. The Fault in Our Stars takes place in Indiana. In Indianapolis. Wow, that's crazy. What is this? An Architecture Columbus, a 2017 movie. Drama centered around. Are you kidding me? Buildings located in Columbus, Indiana? Yo, this is crazy. Sorry if I'm boring you with my Indiana talk. I'm sure if you're from Indiana, wouldn't that be weird? Whoa, I've never thought about that. Whoa, I never thought about that. People watch my videos that, what if you're from Indiana? What if we're from the same city? No, you want to talk stalker vibes. There you go. My sister, she's not a stalker. She's not a stalker, but there's a town like an hour or somewhere away from me, and I guess there's this girl. I don't think I've ever even looked up the girl, but there's this girl on YouTube who my sister watches some occasionally, I think. I think she has like a pretty good following, and my sister watches her. And she was at some kind of parade or something, and she saw the girl, and she was like fangirling. You know, I would too. Be like, oh my, not that. Sometimes it's just wild to see people that you see on TV or on a screen. It's just wild to see them in person. Like, we went to Comic-Con a few weeks ago, and we saw the girl that played Donna from That 70s Show, and we were like, that's crazy that she's just like standing there. You know, I know it sounds so weird or whatever. Do I need to turn this up? I know it sounds so weird or whatever, but that's just how it is. It's just crazy to see somebody on a screen and then see them in person and be like, wow, you're a whole person standing here existing. You know what I mean? Okay, but anyways, so she saw this girl, and she didn't go up to her or anything, but she was just like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And she was like telling me about it. It was so funny. It was so hilarious. And you know, because if you're in the same town, like, you can like look in the background and like know where they are. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't think that's weird. It's just fun. Anyways, that's hilarious. I can't believe the League of Their Own took place in Evansville. Evansville. Yeah, The Fault in Our Stars. They didn't even put on here. What did I say? That one TV show, Hawkins. You know what's something that's interesting that I learned? This is something interesting that I learned. I know you're wanting to ask. Hold the phone here. What what something interesting I learned. Oh, so let me look it up because I don't know the complete fact. I do that sometimes, and I don't want to get it wrong. But the reason that some places, like in shows and movies and stuff, it'll be like Hawkins, Indiana. There's not a real Hawkins, Indiana, because I guess that if they did, like, if let's say there was a Hawkins, Indiana, the movie people would have to go there and do something. Like they have to, I think they have to make sure that nobody with the same names as the people in the story. So like who names their child 11, but 11 and I forget, it's been a while since I've seen Stranger Things. Mike, like they have to make sure nobody has the names. Let me look it up. Let me look it up real quick. Okay, how do I say it? Why don't movies name cities? Take place in real cities, I guess. It's some, I hope that's it. I just didn't sound silly, but it's something really cool. Like the reason filming cost, no. I'm not asking it correctly. It's talking about production and everything. Anyways, so it's like, and then the movie, this was another movie. It's called Whip It. It's a roller skating movie, which is phenomenal. I love that movie. It takes place in, what's the name of the town? In, oh my gosh, what's the name of the town? It's somewhere in Texas. Bodine. It's called Bodine, Texas. That's where it takes place. And, I gotta look it up. I'm sorry. But why didn't they, or, yeah, is Bodine a real place from the movie? Because I remember that's what I looked up before, and that's what told me. Yeah, they just like base the towns off of towns, if that makes any sense. Like it's based off of a real town, but the reason that they can't like name it after is like they have to do something crazy. And I wish I knew, and I can't find it. And you know what? I'm really sorry. Maybe you can find it, but I hope I'm not boring anybody. But what? Whip It's considered a feminist film? What? Are you kidding me? What makes something feminist? Are you kidding me? Listen to this. Yes, Whip It is widely considered a feminist film that focuses on female empowerment, sisterhood, and bodily autonomy. Like what? What are we doing? Imagine, can we imagine if like men came out and said we're menonist? You know, we're promoting, you know, like I understand, I don't know, that just seems a bit ridiculous. It's a film, it's a movie. You know what I mean? That why do we have to label? Okay, I could go on. I don't understand why we have to label everything, why everything has to, you know what I mean? Why do we have to, they want to put everybody in a box, and you just can't do that. You just can't do that, okay? Anyways, Whip It's a really good movie. I love that movie. It's fantastic. It takes place in Texas. It's got a whole vibe. Landon Pig is in it. His name's Oliver in the movie, which, if you don't know, listen to this. Am I boring you? It's okay. I don't care. I do care. I hope I'm not boring you. I hope you find this as interesting as I do. So, there's a show called Parenthood. It's a TV show. The theme song on there is sung by a Lucy Schwartz. Okay, the song is called "When We Were Young." When we were young, we were small, but we didn't know it. You know, it's a great song. Okay, now see if you can keep up with me here. Landon Pig, which he's in this Whip It movie, but that's relevant to this story. Landon Pig is an artist, and he did I don't know if he wrote it, but he sang the song from Shrek, the Shrek 4. Darling, I Do. Golden leaves look brown to me. The world had less color without you, right? Phenomenal song. What a cute little song that everybody should dance to at their wedding, okay? He did that song. It's a duet with Lucy Schwartz, okay? Are we following? Now, in Parenthood, there's an episode where there's like a music studio in there, and like he's in one of the episodes. I don't know. I just thought it was super cool because it's like she sings. I don't know. Maybe that's how they met. I always wondered about things like that. Like, is that actually how it happens? I would imagine. Like how people meet. You'll see people working on a project together, and then like next thing you know, that they're in each other's projects like all the time. I noticed that in the Hannah Montana movie, Taylor Swift's in it, and for a scene she does a song, and then the love interest in the Hannah Montana movie is in Taylor Swift's music videos. And so it's just like that's kind of cool how that if that's actually how it works, which I would imagine that that's how it works. It's pretty cool to think about that cuz I don't know, just being like, "Hey, I have a part." I don't know. It's just cool. But yeah, I like his music. Some of it's interesting. But I love that song so much. Darling, I do. Who doesn't love that song? It's a great song. Look where we're at on this drawing. Okay? It looks a little 3D. I don't know what I was going for. Like I said, it was an interesting drawing, but I just kind of relaxed with it. I just kind of took my time drawing off camera. I'm really bad about that. I'm sorry, guys. My goal with these videos is to every video I post do something a little better and working on my light situation, okay? Also, I need to work on not drawing off camera, but it's like when I zoom the camera out, then you can see everything and you can't really see the lines I'm drawing. When I zoom it in, then I draw off camera lights. It's a whole thing. I don't want to bore you, but yeah, it was fun making. I was like, I try to draw every night. And I was like, what am I going to draw tonight? And I remembered that I had to finish this one that I had been working on. And it's interesting, when I have drawings, I'm like, that I don't like that I've started and then stopped for whatever reason, and I don't really like them. I don't want to finish them, but I told myself, we're not going to do that because I don't think that that's good to do. Like, even if I don't like it, I should still finish it because there's a lot of times when I'll draw something that I don't like, but I'll keep going and it'll turn out amazing. You know what I mean? And that's not always the case. I think I don't know. What do you think about this drawing? It's like 3D, and if the markers maybe were a little more, like I didn't have to go over everything double time, maybe it would have been a little better. I don't know. It's just interesting to look at. It's just interesting to be like, okay, sure. So let me know what you think about it. How are you doing today? I'm so sorry. Forgive me for being rude. Are you doing good? Are you drawing? What are you doing? I'm hanging. I'm just chilling. Yeah. Yeah, I like this yellow. Yellow's pretty cool. It got trapped under and then like it kept going. What'd be cool? We should do a video where we just get a thing of Posca markers. You know what? Maybe I won't tell you. Maybe I'll just leave it a surprise. I'm just gonna leave it a surprise, and you'll have to tune in. You have to tune in the next time for that. So, okay, we have a few more minutes here. Let's see. We could talk about the fact that it's already today's the 31st, so tomorrow's August. What? Technically, it's 12:02, so it's August now. That's absurd, okay? I've been thinking about the concept of time lately, and we don't have enough time to go into it right now. Come on, Sandy, don't make me laugh. Anywho's, yeah, the concept of time is just crazy. Like, it's already August. It was just August last year, and 2 years ago, it's already been well, and then sometimes I get confused. I'm like, no, this happened, it was only a year ago, or it's only 2 years ago, or whatever, but like, let's see, I graduated in 2021, so it's 2022, 23, 4, 5, 6, so I graduated 5 years ago. Whoa, that's absurd. I graduated in the peak of COVID. Yeah, it was weird. I didn't get a senior year. I didn't get my junior year, which, you know what I did? I had an apartment. When I turned 18, I had an apartment. Moved out the day I turned 18. Oh, the drawing's over. Is it over? Moved out the day I turned 18. I got an apartment and everything. And so nobody was making sure I did my work because everything went online. And so I did all my classes and I figured out how to, you just leave it at your computer open to do the classes and set the timer. And then I'll just cheat on all the stuff. That's what I did. And it was time well spent. I passed the classes. Not sure what my GPA ended up being, but like you can't do school online. You know what I mean? And then I didn't get any of my senior year, and then I got to walk on graduation day, and that was it. So yeah, what an interesting time. Okay, all right. What do you think about this? I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll catch you guys on the flippity flop. All right. Okay. All right. See you in the next one. Okay. Bye. Bye.